Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining your virtual drinking buddy. So tonight I'm getting away from the craft beers. Thought I would crack open an old style. And let's see here. This is by Heilman's Brewing Company, I think is what they're called. Sparkling pure spring water is made to use this. The can's a little different than I remember. It's been a few years since I've had an old style. And honestly, it was something that I didn't even try until I was well into my 30s. Just never thought to do it. But I was actually at an Omaha beef game several years ago. They used to have just like one little beer station, and it was called Your Dad's Beer. And so they sold this, they sold PBR, I think Miller High Life. I feel like there was another beer in there like that. Maybe not. Maybe it was just those three. But you get a tall boy of it for like $4, which is a steal at a sporting event like that. Because I'm pretty sure a 16 ounce of like Coors Light is like $6 or $7, which is still cheap by most sporting event standards. But yeah. So that was the first time I had it. And I liked it well enough, but honestly, I was already several into it before I had it. Didn't exactly remember what it tasted like. And then, I don't know, maybe a year or so later, I was at a restaurant in Omaha called Chicago Dog, which is a hot dog joint. And it's like Chicago-styled hot dogs. They had like the traditional Chicago dog, on the, what is it, some sort of seeded bun. It's got the little hot pepper and all that. They got the Italian beef sandwiches, the whole bit. And unfortunately, they had to close their restaurant, and they're just a food truck now, but they still have their full menu, if I remember correctly. Excellent food. But anyway, I saw on the menu, they just had a few beers, but Old Style was one of them, and I thought, well, sure, if I'm at a place that's selling Chicago hot dogs, I should have a Chicago beer. And I actually had a much better memory. I was able to, form a memory of how it tasted. And I kind of rather liked it. So I went through a small phase where I was drinking Old Style, but then it got hard to find in Iowa. Well, turns out it's still being sold in Nebraska. I don't know why I can't find it in Iowa, but luckily I'm just across the river from Nebraska. So the other day I was over there and saw a 30-pack of it, so I thought, why not? I need to stock up on some sipping beer anyway. And it'd give me something a little different to review, because like I said, it's been a few years since I've had one of these. I was going to go to the website and look up information about the beer, but the website is pretty much just selling merchandise. They did have a couple of little paragraphs talking about how we don't need to fetishize about the past. We need to remember our heritage and look forward to the future, be more inclusive, stuff like that. And I'm sure there's probably like a history of the beer, but I did see like the little heading for the Wikipedia page for it, that it weighs in at 4.9% ABV, which is pretty typical for an American lager. Super light in color. I could see right through it. I could see myself on my camera's monitor. White soapy head. And it... I'm going to give you a very detailed description of how it smells. It smells like beer. I mean, it's one of those... I mean, when I was a kid, I don't remember there being craft beers. There was Budweiser, there was PBR, there was Old Style. I mean, there was stuff like that. I don't even remember seeing foreign beers. I mean, they existed, but nobody in Southwest Iowa was drinking them. So, but yeah, I mean, it reminds me of when I was a kid. There was a bar in town. It always stunk of beer, sometimes you go in there and just get a bag of chips or a candy bar or something. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. All right. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, it tastes pretty much how I remember it, I guess. It's lighter and bodied. It's funny. I'm just remembering when I first started doing reviews, I always use Budweiser as like my middle ground. That's like a medium-bodied beer, but now that I've had a much broader array of beer styles, beers like this are verging on watery. And then you actually get a light beer, and then they are just flat out watery. Whereas before, I mean, that's just what beer was like. But, I digress. Not bad for a cheap beer. I mean, yeah, it's got a little bit of the corn adjunct flavor. Not really much hoppiness to speak of, but I don't know, it tastes like beer smells. And to me, that's okay. And sometimes I just crave that. Like, I just want a beer. Don't need it to be high ABV. I don't need it to have a complex taste profile. Sometimes I just want to crack open a beer or 12 and fire up the griddle, which I do not have going tonight, but or just watching a game. And this is a fine beer to do that with. Hell, I might just have to buy another 30 rack of these. But that's really all I got. If you've never tried old style, give it a shot. It might not be for you, but for me, it reminds me of the old hometown bar where you could go into it. It wasn't a dangerous place. You go in there in the middle of the day. You might go in there late afternoon after doing stuff with your dad, and he has a beer, and you get like some of their bar food, a pickled egg or something. I don't know how everybody else grew up, but that's how I grew up. So that's kind of what this reminds me of. But if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button below. And don't forget to tell your friends. And this is the Malted Gentleman reminding you, you only have one liver, so use it wisely.